What happens if you find yourself in a trafficking situation? For instance, you perhaps was pulled into a situation that you had no idea it would end up like that. The first thing is to try and be submissive. The more that you go against the will of the perpetrator or the traffickers, the more they're going to hurt you, the more they're going to torture you, and the more they will try to break you down and get you to become submissive. So the fastest way in which you will gain the opportunity to escape is for them to start trusting you. Okay, it's very ironic actually, because they first gained your trust and now you're going to have to gain their trust, and it might take time. Okay, so the first thing is, if you are in the situation where you were coerced or you are being exploited or whatever, is try and remain submissive. See if you can obtain a way in which you can make contact with the outside world. One of the ways in which trafficking syndicates operate is they immediately confiscate the phone, or the telephone of the victim, because they want to cut you off from the outside world. Okay. I think that often also happens is the traffickers will, if it's in case of sex trafficking, they will send ghost clients. In other words, there will be a client who tries to win your trust, and when the client asks you, why are you in sex trafficking, or why are you in the sex industry, and let's say you start trusting someone, eventually the client comes day 5 or for the fourth time or the fifth time, you might start trusting this person and start telling them the truth about why you're there. Remember, trafficking victims are tortured and they are hurt, and they literally torture you so much that you actually are so scared of talking. So in some instances, in the beginning, still in the early days, the trafficking victims will try and escape, and the moment that ghost client, it's actually one of the other traffickers, are there to obtain your services, and you try to tell them about your dire situation, that then you will be punished. I remember one of the trafficking houses that I went to in one of the smaller towns of South Africa, or where I did some research. I wasn't inside, but I spoke to some of the guys in the vicinity. It was actually a punishment house. So they literally send you there if you try to get out of, your traffickers, environment, or out of the trafficking situation, whatever. So they send you there to be gang raped, to be tortured, etc., to get you back into submission. So the first thing you must do is be careful who you trust, but see if you can develop a relationship with someone that comes there in time. Test them and try to obtain someone's trust that you can actually, yeah, in time trust to help you to get out. One of the trafficking victims who was lured into trafficking, that lady who came from the UK, what I spoke about in the earlier video, she managed to get someone who she could trust. Eventually, this person helped her to get out of the trafficking situation. So yeah, there is ways and means. Another way is one of the trafficking survivors, Chanel van der Westhuizen. She was actually trafficked by her own father from a very young age. She sold her to other men, and eventually she ran away. She ended up in Hillbrow. In Hillbrow, she was given a phone by her traffickers, and she had to recruit her own clients. Very sad. And she, the one number that she could actually remember, drugged, and she was all drugged, because remember, that's what the traffickers do. The first thing they do is they offer you drugs, or they drug you so that you can cope with the horrible things that happens to you. But long story short, she actually, the only number she could remember in her drugged state was her father's number, and she just decided that day she doesn't care if the trafficker catches her sending a message to her father. She doesn't care anymore. She just is either she gets out of the cell, or that trafficker must kill her because she can't anymore. And eventually she managed to message her dad from the phone that she had to use to recruit clients and chat up clients to come and see her on Facebook, on Instagram, all of that. They have to recruit clients constantly. So she could get hold of her father, and she made a deal with her father. Her father assisted her. So, yeah, if you are in a trafficking situation and you get a phone, try to be careful, but try to make contact with someone in the outside world that can come and fetch you. Take the chance to get out, but first try and obtain the trust of your traffickers so that they will give you a device. Tell them you will recruit your own clients, whatever the case may be. It sounds crazy, but if it's your only lifeline, believe me, you will do anything in your power to get out of that situation.